What's up, party people? This is Maine's World, and it is party time. The newest and realest sports podcast on the planet, giving the truth to you straight. Why? Because you can't control me. I'm Jermaine Harris, and I'm your host. I hope you enjoy the show. All right, our first question comes in from Lee in Jackson, Mississippi. What do you think about Floyd Mayweather Jr. saying that Terrence Bud Crawford is the pound for pound king of boxing? Well, Lee, usually when Floyd Mayweather talks, he's like E.F. Hutton. If he's talking about boxing, everybody's listening. He's an expert and professional, one of the most respected boxers of all time. So what he has to say has a lot of weight behind it. But that's the beauty and the curse of boxing. It is so subjective. So me personally, I think Earl Spence Jr. should be higher on that list. And I believe that he should be above Terrence Crawford. And I probably say that just because I want to see Terrence Bud Crawford and Earl Spence fight. Is a matchup for the ages. Unfortunately, the politics and money of boxing a lot of times keeps us from seeing these marquee matchups and allowing the fighters to answer these questions. The pound for pound lists came out to demonstrate who's the best boxer, usually using quality of victory, achievements, and ability, and taking out the sheer size of a man or a woman in these days and times. But Canelo Alvarez being number 2, I mean, some people could argue that he's still number 1. He wasn't able to box this year due to the 2020 pandemic. Bud Crawford and Earl Spence both have fights coming up at the end of the year. Hopefully, God willing, the boxing gods willing, that we will be able to see that matchup maybe even as early as next summer. We can keep speaking into existence. I think it will be great for the sport of boxing. I think it would be great for both fighters. And then we can truly see who the pound for pound king is. One other problem that I had with Floyd Mayweather's list was he had Vasily Lomachenko just under Teofimo Lopez. I think with the recent bout that they just had, the performance that Lomachenko put out puts him a little bit further down the list. He can't be right up under Teofimo, the man that dismantled him and took his title. But I would personally say Earl Spence Jr. is number 1 and Bud Crawford is number 2. Hopefully I can keep speaking it into existence that we can see that matchup and the fighters can make the decision for us really soon. All right, our next question comes in from Alicia in Dallas. How can Stephen Silas make life easier for Harden and Westbrook? So Alicia's talking about Stephen Silas, that's Stephen with a PH, the new head coach for the Houston Rockets. He's a 20-year assistant and scout, son of longtime NBA player and head coach Paul Silas. Hopefully, Stephen is able to enjoy a little bit better success in coaching than his father did. But the two things that come to mind, Alicia, that first off he can do is move Houston to the Eastern Conference and make PJ Tucker 6'10" in the offseason. All right, those are just jokes. But the only thing I see that Stephen Silas could possibly do to make life easier for Harden and Westbrook in the Western Conference is to, one, forge a team identity. They have to have a solid team identity. Whether that's going to still be small ball or motion offense or whatever they come up with, it has to be a team identity that every portion of the team is focused on that identity. 2, they need to improve team defense. They have to improve team defense overall, whether that be incorporating the zone like the Miami Heat. They're currently 24th in team defense, giving up 114 points. They need to lower that number significantly, at least by 7 points. That should be able to make it a lot easier for both players. And number 3, they have to find a big man. You're not going to need your big man every night, but you're going to need a big man some nights. When you're facing the championship LA Lakers or the Denver Nuggets or even the New Look Clippers. Hopefully Houston has a realistic expectations for next year. They have little to no chance of winning the championship because of the three teams I just mentioned. You have a first-year head coach and you have no draft picks. So if they have a realistic expectation, which I believe is still fourth in the West, possibly making it to the Western Conference Finals, those are realistic expectations in my opinion. But that's what I got for you, Alicia. Okay, our next question comes in from ID in Chicago. Do you like the Tony La Russa hire for the Chicago White Sox? Because I do. All right, I got to give the people a little background. ID is a long-time Cubs fan, which is fine. The only problem is he was born and raised on the south side of Chicago. And we have a team. It's called the Chicago White Sox. So I'm not sure if his question is actually genuine or he's just trying to get a rise out of me. Long-time Cubs fan, only been right about being a Cubs fan one time in his life. But I'll answer your question, ID. The answer is no. I don't like it. Yes, Tony 3 times is a legendary coach. Won 3 world championships. The last one as recently as 2011. And I use that word recently loosely. Won that championship with your rivals, the St. Louis Cardinals, and rode off into the sunset a decade ago. But now he's 76 years old. He's an old school skipper. I'm not sure he's into bat flips and small ball and shifts and analytics. But in today's game, you need players and you have to embrace forms or versions of bat flips, small ball, shifts, analytics, guts, intuition, patience, and fire. That's what got Rick Renteria fired. Just didn't have or use a combination of all those things. And I'm just not sure that's something that an old school skipper at age 76 can do in Tony La Russa. The White Sox have a great young core, 2 MVP caliber players in Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu, a decent pitching staff anchored by Giolito and Luke Keuchel. So the players are there. You just have to find a way to incorporate the love of all those things. So hopefully he can do that. I'm a White Sox fan. I don't like the hire, but by the time the season starts, I'll be loving it because I'm a White Sox fan. And I'm going to pull for them to do well, pull for LaRusso to make it through the grueling 162 game season and forge through the playoffs. So that's my answer, ID. Yes. No, but yes, when the time comes, I love the hire. Although I don't. All right, team. Once again, it's Friday. Time to put down some action on this weekend's NFL games. Let's hit up my man Money Sale. I know he was spot on with his picks last week. Let's see what he got for us this week. Here we go with Money Sales action for the weekend.
Okay, man. If you took my picks last week, your pocket should be a little heavier. Week 8 NFL, here we go. I'm going to start you with the 5-2 Los Angeles Rams at the 3-3 Miami Dolphins. They said it's Tua time down in Miami. Tua Tagovailoa is making his first career NFL start. We shall see how this turns out. It's an odd decision to make this change when the Dolphins are 3-3 on the season, but the coach felt like it was the right move. But he picked the wrong team. The Dolphins will struggle against the Rams. The Rams are coming off a total domination game Monday night against the Chicago Bears. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, I expect them to dominate Tua. Confuse him with their defensive schemes is just going to be a struggle. Aaron Donald has 8 sacks already. He may leave this game with 16 sacks. I'm taking a...
Whoa, Money. We don't speak the name of the team in LA on this show. we still mad at them. What you got? What else you got for us?
In my next matchup, you have the 4-3 San Francisco 49ers at the 5-1 Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers are coming off a blowout victory against the New England Patriots. But the question is, can Jimmy Garoppolo sustain a passing attack? He's only averaging 7 yards in the air per pass attempt. That's not going to get it done. I'm expecting this to be a total offensive game, maybe even a shootout. You have Seattle Seahawks, they're coming off a embarrassing loss on Monday night to the Arizona Cardinals. Russell Wilson played terrible, throwing 3 picks. I'm pretty sure he went home. Sierra hit him with some goodies, so I'm expecting him to have a bounce-back game this week. Tyler Lockett is playing out of his mind right now. And let's not forget about DK Metcalf. So I'm expecting the Seahawks to have a balanced attack with Carson, airing it out to those 2 receivers, and I'm expecting them to take home the victory to keep a stranglehold on first place in the NFC West.
All right, Seahawks. Sounds like a plan, Money. And what's your game of the week?
With Money's game of the week, we have a trick-or-treat special. Freddy versus Jason. Halloween versus Nightmare on Elm Street. Reese's Cups versus Kit Kat. We have the undefeated 6-0 Pittsburgh Steelers at the 5-1 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are coming off a bye week. They signed Dez Bryant. Will he see the field? Will he be a factor? Will Lamar Jackson run wild on the Steelers defense? These are all questions that we need answers to, and they will be answered on Sunday. On the other side of the ball, we have the Blitzburgh Steelers. They don't call them Blitzburgh for nothing. They lead the NFL in defense. They have 26 sacks on the season. They blitz on 46% of their defensive plays. This should be a fine and dandy matchup. Offense versus defense on both sides of the ball. But this game is going to be a close one. It's for the first place in the AFC North. It's going to come down to a Justin Tucker field goal, and that's how the Ravens will win the game. And after that, Don Shula and the 72 Dolphins, they will be popping bottles.
Oh, popping bottles indeed. All right, Ravens for the division victory. Sounds good, Money. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you again next week. All right, party people, that's a wrap for today. Have a great weekend. Thanks again to Money Sale for the insight. Please don't forget, Tuesday is election day. Don't forget to hit us up at mainsworldpodcast.com to drop your questions. Also, like and subscribe on Main's World Podcast on YouTube. I'll be back next week. Why? You know why. Because you can't control me.